Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys land 6'3" playmaker after passing on former second-round receiver. After hosting a plethora of free agents, the Dallas Cowboys signed wide receiver Seth Williams and pass rusher Luigi Villain. The Cowboys opted to sign Williams over several other free agents the team hosted for an October 8, 2024, workout, including former second-round pick Denzel Mims. The Cowboys are signing Wr Seth Williams and D. Luigi Villain to practice squad after a workout Tuesday, ESPN's Todd Archer detailed in an October 8 message on X. The club also worked out Wr's Denzel Mims, Dante Pettis, Chad Cota, QB Max Duggan and D. Shaka Toney. D. Carl Lawson will be called up to 53-man roster from practice squad. Here's what you need to know about Williams and Villain. Williams gives the Cowboys a big-bodied wideout at 6'3" and 211 pounds. The receiver was selected by the Denver Broncos in the 6th round of the 2021 NFL Draft. Coming out of Auburn, NFL.com's Lance Zierlein highlighted Williams as being a legit red zone threat. The lack of urgency and inconsistencies as a big pass catcher can be maddening during tape study, Zierlein detailed in his pre-draft profile of the receiver. Williams is a different receiver in the red zone, where his size and length are huge advantages on jump ball battles. However, between the 20s, his routes lack salesmanship, he's unable to create separation and he fails to use his size to prevail. Despite some of the flashes and his overall potential, he doesn't have the field demeanor of a player with an NFL-caliber competitive streak. His physical traits are certainly worthy of a Day 3 selection, but he needs to play with more passion if he wants to make it as a long-term pro. New Cowboys practice squad additions D. Luigi Villain, 53, and Wr Seth Williams, 13, made their practice debuts today. #Dallas Cowboys. The move come as starting receiver Brandon Cooks is on injured reserve. Unfortunately, Williams has had minimal success in the NFL. Pettis or Mims would have been bigger names given their high draft status. Denver released Williams in August 2022 as the team finalized the 53-man roster ahead of the start of the season. Williams went on to have several short stints with the Jacksonville Jaguars. As for Villain, the pass rusher has played for the Minnesota Vikings and Carolina Panthers. Coming out of Wake Forest, Villain went undrafted in 2022 prior to these recent NFL stints. Here's how Zierlein described Villain heading into the 2022 NFL Draft. Villain could catch a project label or a diamond in the rough tag, but he's worthy of more than just a cursory conversation for teams, Zierlein wrote in the defender's pre-draft profile. He never lived up to his 4-star billing at Michigan and saw little playing time, but his explosiveness and upside frequently flashed on his Wake Forest tape from the 2021 season. He's not a naturally instinctive player and lacks consistency as a run defender, but Villain's measurables, athletic traits, and upside as a pass rusher should make him worthy of a Day 3 pick. NFC East news: Philadelphia releases veteran linebacker, Washington's defense surges. Philadelphia made some roster moves during their bye week, including the release of LB Devin White. It turned out, the Eagles didn't need Devin White, after all. The team and linebacker agreed on Tuesday to be released now, rather than waiting until after the trade deadline so he is not subject to waivers. White is free to sign with any team now. In exchange, a source said the agreement could provide financial savings for the Eagles. The move opens a spot on the 53-man roster. Earlier in the week, they opened the 21-day practice window for safety Sidney Brown, who was on the physically unable to perform list, PUP, and receiver Ine Smith, who was placed on injured reserve with a designation to return when the Eagles trimmed their initial roster to 53 players at the end of August. It is expected that Brown will take White's spot and the Eagles will take a longer approach on Smith, though that could change if A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith continue to miss time coming out of the bye. That isn't expected, however, with Brown appearing to have recovered from the hamstring injury that kept him out of 3 games and Smith possibly having advanced through concussion protocol. The Eagles, 2-2, will return to practice on Wednesday as they prepare to host the Cleveland Browns, 1-4, on Sunday in what will be just the team's second home game of the season. As for White, he signed a 1-year contract early in free agency for $3.5 million. After getting the majority of first-team reps during training camp, it appeared he was on track to be a starter this season. Jones does enjoy throwing to more than just Malik Neighbors. East Rutherford, New Jersey, Daniel Jones' favorite target was unavailable Sunday in Seattle, so the Giants' quarterback smartly and predictably turned to his favorite longtime partner to propel the passing attack in their 29-20 victory against the Seahawks. The Giants played for the first time this season without rookie sensation Malik Neighbors, who was both in New Jersey and the NFL concussion protocol. As he led the NFL in both targets, 52, and receptions, 35, entering the game, his absence left a large void in the passing game. Darius Slayton stepped in to fill it. Jones threw 11 passes to Slayton, who caught 8 of them for 122 yards. He had 122 total yards in the first 4 games, including a 30-yard touchdown. It was the latest episode in their continuing partnership. In their 6 seasons together, Slayton has more receptions, 181, for more yards, 2,595, and more touchdowns, 12, than any of the other 52 receivers who have caught at least one pass from Jones. And no one else is particularly close. Slayton's 8 catches were tied for the second highest total of his career. He also caught 8 passes versus Dallas on October 11, 2020. Slayton's career best of 10 receptions was set in his rookie season versus the Jets on November 10, 2019. Slayton's 122 yards is the 3rd highest total of his career and the most he's had since gaining 129 yards versus the Cowboys on October 11, 2020. His touchdown catch was the 20th of his career. It was Slayton's 6th career 100-yard game and the first in a Giants victory. Cowboys ripped for Davante Adams trade stance. Is Jalen Tolbert big time? The Dallas Cowboys offense needed players to step up in Brandon Cook's absence against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jalen Tolbert answered the call. In a gritty and tough 20-17 win at Acrisure Stadium, Tolbert was the shining light in the passing attack, leading Dallas in catches and yards while hauling in the game-winning touchdown. Tolbert finished his night with 7 catches for 87 yards, showing that he can step up when called upon. Regarding the 4th-and-goal touchdown pass, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer says that most aren't aware of how tough the catch Tolbert made was. It wasn't exactly how we drew it up on paper, but again, just a ton of credit to the protection unit, Schottenheimer said. For JT to come across, I don't think enough people understand how difficult that catch was. Dak Prescott made a great throw, but to be able to hold that ball, extended away from his body with a really good safety, Deshaun Elliott coming there and hammering down his hands, for him to finish that catch is a big-time play in that situation. Is it big-time enough to keep the Cowboys from making a trade for a bigger-time receiver? Critics continue to harp on the Dallas front office for its disinterest in trading for the likes of disgruntled Raiders star Davante Adams. Which we've explained at length simply is not in the plans here. Indeed, a Fox Sports columnist calls Dallas' position ridiculous, unfathomable and unfortunate. We're going to counter by insisting that while Dallas' blow-it-up/remodel plan might be wrong, it is not unfathomable. Rather, it's quite easy to understand. The Cowboys want their 2024 cap room, right now about $25 million, to carry over into 2025 in order to launch a remodel at that time, starting with the signing of Micah Parsons. In short, the Cowboys would rather spend on Micah for 2025 and beyond than spend on Adams for 2024. That's it. Ridiculous and unfortunate, maybe. But hardly unfathomable. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Davante Adams? Leave your opinion in the comments.